I may or may not be away this week, so I wanted to make a quick devlog. But I still wanted to make a devlog because there was an important topic I want to talk about, which is calling it crowd control. I said that crowd control was the running name for it. I don't like crowd control, but then I like it at the same time. One of the reasons I do like it is because it checks a lot of the boxes that I'm worried about with a name, as well as it feels like it's a tie-in to Paladins, which is something that I wanted. If you've played Paladins, you're probably familiar with the term crowd control, and so it feels like a cool tie-in to the game. I don't want to do something that's like a very generic, basic sounding video game name, because even though I think there's a lot of potential with calling it something like Invictus or whatever, there's no tie-in to Paladins with that, and being that the card game is centered around Paladins as a theme, I feel like it's kind of important to have some tie-in. I feel like someone in the community has said the phrase Cards of the Realm before, and that's a cool title, but I'm worried that someone already is using it somewhere, and B, there are a couple of boxes that I try to think about when I'm trying to name something, which is if you have someone who wants to describe this video game to their friend, you want to give some like catchy small title for them to be able to call it, but that can be an abbreviation of the full title of the game. So for example, we call Paladins, not Paladins, Champions of the Realm. Well, I do, but you guys don't. People tend to call League of Legends League, they tend to call Siege. They will tend to abbreviate games to some shorthand, so that way they can describe it better and talk with friends, which I feel like is fairly important, especially when we talk about the idea of making a game that people can discuss. I don't exactly plan on spending like $400 million on marketing, so you know, word of mouth would be pretty important. So Cards of the Realm hits the box of being a reference to the Paladins really well. However, there's no real shorthand way of saying Cards of the Realm to describe it to your friends other than Carter, which I don't like as an acronym. Plus, if you remove the OT from the acronym, you just get CR, which is already taken. It's also already a card game, so there's a little bit of overlap there. The original name Crowd Control came because I was thinking of like a title, something along the lines of Champion Cards or Card Champions, and then that abbreviated to CC, and then that made me think, oh, what if we named it Crowd Control? I don't like card champions or champion cards because I feel like they're invoking like a vibe that I don't necessarily want the game to have. So there are several names I'm workshopping. I do actually kind of like Cards of the Realm. Again, I don't like the acronym, but Arena of Champions also sounds pretty interesting. You get AOC. I also thought about naming it something like Cards Unbound after the Cards Unbound update. I thought about naming it after items, so I thought it might be cool to do like Resilience or Unbound as the name. Obviously, Cauterize is right there. It was such an important part of the game for so long, and it was so well down inside the community, and we have a shorthand for it, Caught, so it checks a lot of the boxes as well as being something I think is a really good tie into Paladins. The only thing holding me back from saying, oh, I want to name the game Cauterize is the fact that I also was wanting Cauterize to be a card in the game. But I think if I'm going to name it after something that isn't Resilience, Cards Unbound, or just the item Unbound, I think I would probably name it like Cauterize : Cards Unbound or something like that. So that way you get the Cauterize, the Cards Unbound, and you get the little title thing. The only thing with that is I'm not a huge fan of the name Cauterize Cards Unbound. I think Resilience, Cards Unbound could be kind of interesting as well, but I don't know. I think those three have a lot of potential to play around with the name of it as well. But I think I'm probably gonna say the running title from now on is gonna be Cards of the Realm. I might continue naming stuff Crowd Control, but if you guys have any like interesting concepts you want to explain, I don't know how I feel about just like someone suggesting a name and then me using it, because I would feel bad about that. So if you have any like interesting ideas, don't say them directly, because I don't want it to be like limited because like, oh, that guy said it and now I can't use it because they said it. But if you have any like interesting concepts or ideas, like, hey, maybe what if it was like about Magistrate or about the War of Light and Darkness in the World Paladin, stuff like that, let me know in the comments, because the point of doing this devlog series is anytime I'm reaching a point where I'm like, hey, you know, what if I did X or Y? I want to be able to talk to the community and be like, hey guys, what do you think I should be doing? Making a Paladins themed fan game is great, but making a Paladins themed fan game that incorporates elements from the entire community, I think would be even better. But yeah, I'm gonna stop the video for right here. Thank you for watching. Follow the series if you will. Let me know your ideas. Remember to play Paladins. Remember to play Paladins.